MICE is meetings, incentives, conventions and exhibitions. In short, actually, or in totality, it's the business events industry. The MICE industry is really very dynamic. So anyone who is, whether it's in IT, right up to sales, can come and work in this industry. So people who've got the necessary skills and talent can come into, whether it is the meetings or the incentives or the conventions and the exhibition industry, to do their jobs, whether it's project management, whether it's in sales, whether it's in communications, whether it's in IT. That really is what our industry is, huge. And the potential for employment is also huge. Well, we are not the hospitality industry. We are very much more, if I can elaborate, the hospitality industry is very much based on skills and tasks. Really, our business events is very much more cerebral. You actually have to be entrepreneurial. You have to have a business acumen, and more so, I think, professionalism. And that's the reason why SASUS is going into a lot of the training to bring about professional development in our industry. We are certainly much more than just what hospitality is all about. We're a business. Singapore is really where everything works. We're very blessed with great infrastructure, great facilities, and I would say that, if you take a look at time, if we were to count time as money, I think a lot of times, while maybe our third-party costs are a little bit on a premium, but I think the effectiveness of how fast you can do events over here is really tremendous. Why do people come over here? Our accessibility. If you take a look at the air show, if you take a look at some of our events, whether the Formula One, the reason people come here because everything works. It's passion made possible, but I think commitment as well, and the drive. And there is a direct impact and there is an indirect impact. If someone was to bring a convention of 5,000, it's not only the hotels and the facilities that get our taxis, our restaurants, our attractions. And if they were to bring a loved one or a family over here, it's furthermore. I mean, you get a lot of the leisure activities, the more pleasurable offerings that we have in Singapore. So I would say the purpose of people to bring over here, it's great enjoyment, but you can do business with pleasure or pleasurable business. What we've been very pleased in the last 5 years is our industry members have actually got together. We wrote our own content. We gave it to EIC, which is the Events Industry Council, and was able to obtain credit units for each of the person that would sit for the courses. These courses would entitle them as a huge base of credit hours. They would need to do other things. There are other qualifications that they would have to have, and I would advise more than 3 years in our industry. They would have to attend some of SASU's seminars to get them credit hours, and then they can go and sit for the exams. And then once they actually sit for the exams, or when they have to qualify first. And once a qualification of being able to fulfill 3 full years of relevant jobs, to have the credit hours for actually attending some of the academic or workshop sessions, then they can sit for the exams to get their accreditation. And this accreditation is recognized worldwide. I would say America, Europe, Australasia. And I think that, to me, it says more than just that you want to have a job. It means that you have to be well armed, knowledgeable, and have, if you like, the zest and the attitude and aptitude to actually come into our industry. Well, I think from the world over, if you take a look at some of the other industries, whether you want to be a dentist, a doctor, an accountant, everyone has to go through a certain amount of training. That gives you that amount of processes and methodology that actually is required to be professional, code of ethics, work ethics, very, very important to actually do the deliverable. So I would say it is a very critical point in our area of learning and our area of training. More importantly, I think it's the educational. The rest of the world also wants to see that you have gone through certain professional courses and professional development for you to be able to handle the work, because what we do requires someone to be really sort of knowledgeable. I would say there are tons. But I think what is very exciting is this industry is always evolving. Right now, I think the internet or the electronic world has brought about things that we can do that a human person cannot. So if you can create or innovate things that automation can take place and allow the eye-to-eye, great handshake, the personal handling, the more time to actually create on the content, this is where our industry is. We're at the crossroad of being able to see how we can actually enhance from technology to the human mind. And not only that, I think ways and means of how we can actually do things a whole lot quicker, but not compromising on the quality. I think this is where we are at. But in our business, what is very exciting is if it deals with people, everything that is trending or changing does affect us. And I think today, technology will play a very important role.
Meetings are essentially about gathering people from respective different industries. In my case, it's the pharmaceutical industry and tech industries in particular, and creating a platform, a framework in the course of it could be 4 days, it could be just 2 days, in a program that helps senior management, helps essentially all involved in that, that those few days to come together and to connect, get new ideas, to be aligned, to henceforth after that event work together as an organization, with the new ideas especially, and be more effective. So what we are essentially are enablers. We are in a way motivators, helping our clients to create that platform for them to be at the best. The planning process begins very much with understanding the client's needs, which can be complex because they're oftentimes not telling us enough, and it's a very conversational process. It takes I would say experience, expertise, to engage with the client and find out exactly what they want, especially the budgets that sometimes they are constrained within but may not be telling you, so that you're more precise with the multiple options of, that you can ultimately propose to them. So selecting the right destination, and within the destination, the right elements. It could be a restaurant, it could be a hotel, it could be some team building venue, it could be procuring various souvenirs and gifts and services that ultimately enhance the entire effectiveness of that event. And the list goes on and on as to what this could be, depending on the agenda, the program, the needs, the ultimate outcomes that the client desires. I believe we've all been to parties, where the human element is essential. The feeling of camaraderie that you build, the energy, the excitement, and all these things can only be done on a very face-to-face, on a very human, interpersonal level, even in this digital age. The meeting adds on to that by creating that framework, that structure, which is in the case of us meeting professionals, that platform that we strive to become as innovative and as creative and as effective as possible, because we are working within very set time. So within 3 days or 4 days or even just a day sometimes, we have got to help the client to make the most of that time with that face-to-face time. Yeah. Training is important in running an event because there are so many moving parts that you need to have experience, a good mentor to guide you through, and of course, we have SOPs and all, but because things are live and they happen in different destinations, different venues, we're dealing with different clients, different suppliers and vendors, that there are a lot of small things to look out for that ultimately lead to the success of an event. So training is important. Mentoring, coaching is essential. Nothing beats, of course, being involved in the project, itself to solidify those lessons. But formal training in a framework, of course, is a very good first step. Well, the gratification is almost immediate with the work that we do. At the end of every event, even during the event, you can look at the feedback on the faces of the attendees. The clients come to us with feedback from, in our case, the doctors and the stakeholders. And this is the combination, of course, of months of work. There's a saying in Chinese, 台后10年功，台前10分钟. So it takes a long time to put together the show. Yeah, but once the show is on, it's all the thrill of being in a live television production.
At the Society of Incentive Travel Excellence, also known as SITE, we are a global organization with over 2,000 members. These professionals work in the incentive market. So what is incentive? There are two parts to it. We have incentive program, where a program that has a qualifying period and set targets that will help motivate salespeople or team members within organization to drive towards achieving that goal. At the end of that qualifying period of the incentive program is what we call the award, incentive travel. Now, I would say that out of the MICE, I stands for incentive, is the most fun because it's really about motivating people. You need to be creative, you need to have wow moments, and the communication with these delegates are throughout the period because we want to get them excited. So there is a real art form and real discipline. Now, people might have seen incentive program but not knowing that it is an incentive travel. For example, on the newspaper, many would see that let's say a MLM company, a multi-level marketing company like Amway, visiting Korea or visiting Sydney or visiting Singapore, and they are reported in the newspaper that all these tourists are in wearing the same color t-shirt or their corporate colors. This is an incentive travel. Now, people who are involved in the incentive travels, we have our corporate end user or the client. We also have incentive houses who really specializes in forming programs that will allow the constant engagement leading up to the incentive travel. Of course, we have intermediaries like destination management company or logistics company or agencies who are providing all sorts of peripheral services that drive towards the excellence of incentive travel. And of course, we have our suppliers like hotels, venues, restaurants for all parts of the incentive travel program. Now, when it comes to incentive, the reason why we say that you need to be creative. So imagine you have worked very hard over a year and you want this trip. So your expectation will be relatively high because you have worked so hard, you really want to be rewarded. So everything that we do in incentive travel is of excellence. It can range from luxury travel, luxury products, 5-star hotels, resorts, and unique programs that is not accessible by a tourist, but more so, like for example, if they were to come to Singapore, it could be a night at the museum after hours that is exclusively for the incentive travel group, or they get to have a cocktail maybe exclusively above Marina Bay Sands. Some of the other programs that we find really engaging and is really working, especially in the Asia Pacific region, is CSR programs. So we have seen destination management company infusing that CSR program as part of the mix, so that rather than just a traditional team building by the beach, which we can still do that, the trend right now is using CSR program so that they can see sustainable effort helping the poorer communities or communities that need help. Why would one join the incentive market? I would say if you are creative and if you really are keen to use your creativity to wow people, then you belong to the incentive market, because we are here to make sure that everyone have a great time so that they can enroll themselves in the incentive program the following year and reach higher targets set for them.
Well, the convention segment really is working with a lot of non-profit organizations, associations, societies, governments in organizing congresses, meetings for their members and their community. So here at MCI, we work within a large scale of different types of conferences, ranging from 300 to 6,000, 8,000 participants. So it's very diverse in terms of our clientele. So working in the convention industry is extremely exciting because we work with such a diverse group of clients, whether they come from science, business, healthcare, engineering, and even governments and businesses. So it really is quite exciting in terms of the kind of people that we meet and the kind of people, delegates that we interact with. So we're very lucky to work within this industry where because of the diversity of the clients that we work with, there's so much vast impact within the economy, within healthcare, within education, within business. In addition to the kind of business travelers that we attract, it also helps to grow Singapore business travel tourism here. One of the key things that, as a new person, as we come into this industry, we learn a lot about project management, budget, finance, timeline, marketing, sales. So these are fundamental skills that we do pick up as we come into this industry. But in addition to that, because of the close relationship that we have with our clients, whether they be in associations or governments, we do learn a lot about the specific industry. So over the past few years, I've become a little bit of a small expert, within cancer, within neurology, within engineering, to understand their industry better so that we can help them succeed in the events that they run. So working in the conference and convention industry, it's very interesting because the timeline of so-called incubation of this event can run anywhere between 2, 4, or even 7 years. We start very early on, 5 to 6 years ahead in terms of bidding for a large congress for Singapore. And once that event is secured for Singapore, we usually work within 2 to 4 years in terms of planning and implementing the programs for the event itself, and that it culminates within a week of activities, which really brings a nice, growth and climax into the way we run the projects. I think this industry is amazing, and it drives me to wake up every single day, come to work, meet my team, meet my colleagues, work on a plan of creating magic for our client. And at the end of the day, when our client says, "Thank you, this was amazing," it completely is heartening and warms us and know that we've done a good job.
The exhibitions industry is really a marketplace, a platform for buyers and sellers from any industry to come together to find out what new products and services are available in the market, to glean new knowledge, insights, and make new business opportunities. I think more critically, it's also to understand what are the new regions and markets where businesses are thriving and how to get a slice of that action. So the exhibitions industry is dependent on which industry that platform is built on. So in Singapore, the largest shows being the Food and Hotel Asia, which is about the food and hospitality industry coming together to see from beds to coffee machines to even ingredients which they could use in hospitality industries, whether it's a hotel, whether it's restaurants. And I think this is something where the whole world comes together. Another big event that has emerged over the past 2 years was the Singapore FinTech Festival, a different spin to the exhibition marketplace where there is a whole host of experiential elements. And this is where the industries ranging from startups to accelerators to financial industry folks, the traditional bankers and financial institutions coming together to understand what is the fuss about FinTech and how is it going to disrupt the economy. And they get to see what are some of the startups doing and how are they in fact upstaging them, especially for the legacy players. So we see actually the exhibition industry, not just in Singapore but of course the world over, how they are transforming themselves in order to embrace new industries come into play. They hold disruption and the disruptive forces at play, and more importantly to look at where is that business opportunity that they can go for. And so the exhibition industry is indeed an exchange where people come and buy and sell, gather new insights and new knowledge, and get better understanding of what markets and where businesses are going to thrive in the future. The exhibitions industry, like many segments in the MICE industry, is truly an enabler. Because it is like a marketplace, a platform that brings different buyers and sellers the world over, it has significant spin-offs, not just for the tourism industry, but also in the industry on which that platform is built. Take, for example, Food and Hotel Asia and FinTech. For these two industries, you get folks coming in, they go into the restaurant industry, they look at the logistics industry, how they need to transport food, ingredients. They have to look at the insurance guys to see how they can sort of ensure the risks are mitigated. And it doesn't matter which industry you are at. These are key elements of any business. So you're going to get folks from these industries as well as the core industries coming together. It is therefore it becomes a true gathering place where many markets and many countries the world over come together. They exchange, they build new businesses, they of course enjoy the tourism offerings, but more importantly, they help to create new value and spur business growth in the industries that they are in. I think the most critical element that one needs to have is the hunger, the passion. It doesn't matter whether you are in the market with a certificate or with a degree. But what's important is the ability to understand the market, and that is how you need to be inquisitive, to go around asking folks, what exactly does the market want? What are you looking for? Listen. That's why we got 2 years. You need to listen more and talk less. But I think it's how we need to understand what the market needs are and how do we address those needs and use the ability to get new insights and new knowledge and understand how can those needs be addressed. So depending on the skills that you have, you'll come in with, I guess, a fresh new perspective to look at how should I solve those issues. If an industry needs to go into a new market, then it is for us to find out what those market needs are, what those products and services they are looking, and whether there are buyers and sellers for them. Of course, for all events, whether it's exhibitions or any other segments in the MICE industry, you need to know project management, a bit of finance, and it's really nothing rocket science, but something which you can also learn on the job. But more importantly is the passion and the hunger to want to really provide good value and be part of that value creation process. I think you will pick up one key characteristic as opposed to skills, which is being thick-skinned. You need to be inquisitive, you need to persevere, to understand what exactly the market needs. Now, with regard to skill sets, I think the ability to plan well, to synthesize and analyze the information coming in, to tap on perhaps information and insights that are going to be shared with you from different companies and different institutions and knowledge partners, and how do you make sense of it? It is not something where you need to be equipped, but in the course of doing the work, you'll be able to pick up these skills, and you'll be amazed at how you can connect truly unusual dots, and that's where the business success will arrive.